Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear students. Today's topic is role of pH, activator, and enzyme specificity. It means what's the role of pH, role of activator on enzyme catalyzed reaction, and what factors are underlining the enzyme specificity. First of all, the effect of pH. pH mean hydrogen ion concentration, and increase in the hydrogen ion concentration considerably influences the enzyme activity, and bell-shaped curve, just like plot of temperature and enzyme catalyzed reaction activity, or you can say velocity. In that, the bell-shaped curve is also obtained at a certain point or the limit of temperature, and just like that temperature, at the certain pH value, there is direct relationship between the pH value and the enzymatic catalyzed reaction and its velocity. It means that between velocity and between the hydrogen ion concentration up to certain limits, proportionality or the direct relationship is obtained, but after that there is declining and the bell-shaped curve is obtained. And therefore, each enzyme has an optimum pH at which the enzyme velocity is maximum, and by the drop of pH or by rising the pH after that of optimum value, yeah, or the beyond that of optimum value, there is not increase in the enzyme velocity but the declining takes place, and therefore below and above this optimum pH, the enzyme velocity or enzyme activity is much lower, and at extreme pH, like at very high or at very low, the enzyme become totally inactive, and for most of the enzyme of higher organisms, they show the optimum activity around the neutral pH, like 6 to 8. Neutral pH is at 7, and little bit acidic and little bit alkaline, like 8. And therefore, between this 6 to 8 pH, the enzyme activity is higher one, and you can also uh, guess from this phenomenal pH that the pH of metabolic system, like pH of muscles, pH of blood, it's around the 7, and therefore 7.47, this pH, the maximum enzyme show or displayed their uh, optimum activity. And these are, however, many exceptions, like pepsin enzyme or enzyme which works in the acidic condition of stomach. The low pH is examined, like 1 to 2 pH value for pepsin, acid phosphatase enzyme 4 to 5, and alkaline phosphatase enzyme which works in high pH value or in the alkaline medium or the pH, like 10 to 11 pH. And enzymes which are taken from the fungi and plants, they are most active in acidic pH below 7, like they are active between 4 to 6. And hydrogen ion influences the enzyme activity by altering the ionic charge on the amino acids, because amino acids have two important functional groups, amino group NH2 and carboxylic acid group. And at many points, there may be protonation of amino group in the form of NH3 positive, and carboxylic acid group COOH may lose its proton to give COO negative, and therefore these amino acids are very, you can say, sensitive towards the hydrogen ion concentration, and therefore there is change on the ionic charge magnitude or the values which are present on the amino acids, and particularly the amino acid sequences like serine and their sequences on the active site of the enzyme, and substrate and enzyme substrate complex as well. And below is the uh, graphical representation between the relationship between the pH and the enzyme velocity, and the bell-shaped curve is obtained, and there is optimum pH which pertains or which reveals around the neutrality like 6 to 8 pH, where the enzymes show maximum unit of the enzymes show the optimum activity. Next is the effect of product concentration. It means that the product which is liberated after the conversion of substrate into ES complex, and from ES complex the dissociation or the liberation of the product, and when the product is become accumulated in the vicinity of the enzyme substrate complex, then what will be its effect on the enzymatic control reaction, and therefore the accumulation of reaction products, they generally decrease the enzyme velocity, and for certain enzymes the products combine with the active site of enzyme and form a loose complex, and thus it inhibits the enzyme activity. The enzyme will no longer be available for its substrate, because the substrate which was formed, it has affinity for the active site of enzyme, and therefore it will accommodate onto the enzyme active site, or it will occupy the amino acid sequences which are present on the active site. And in the living systems, this type of inhibition is generally prevented by a quick removal of product. As its form, it must be removed from the vicinity of enzyme substrate complex or from the boundaries of the enzyme. And therefore, the natural mechanism is present to remove this formed product from the enzyme site, or you can say the space which is surrounding the enzyme. And therefore it's also called the end product inhibition, and it's in fact the feedback mechanism. It means that the product itself control the enzymatic control reaction. Like uh, if we talk about a certain factory, if the product is going to be increased, and it is becoming accumulated in the storage region, and therefore the factory will no longer, its unit will be available for the formation of new product, and therefore the formed product will inhibit the ongoing reactions, and therefore end product inhibition which prevails over here is the feedback mechanism. The product formed, it will provide the feedback, and if it forms a loose binding to the active site of enzyme, then the active site will no longer be available for the substrate. Number next is effect of activator. Activator, as the name indicates, that it may be certain ion, it may be certain molecule which is responsible for promoting the activity of the or the boosting up the activity of the enzyme. And some of the enzymes require certain inorganic metallic cations, and most predominantly they are the cations like the magnesium, manganese, zinc, calcium, cobalt, copper, sodium, potassium. These enzymes, there are certain enzymes which require these cations, and why they require these cations? For their optimum activity. And in a body, rarely anions are needed for the enzymatic activity. And if it's needed, and it has been shown, it's the chloride ion which is needed by some enzyme. And for example, the chlorine ion is needed for amylase optimum activity. And these metal function as like metal which is mentioned over here: magnesium, manganese, copper, cobalt, and sodium, potassium, so on. They function as the activator of enzyme velocity through various mechanisms like combining with the substrate, formation of ES metal complex, direct participation in the reaction, or bringing a conformational change in the enzyme. The conformational change, in a sense, that the active site will be more available for the substrate, so that the substrate will form the secondary type of forces more efficiently with the active site of enzyme, and therefore enzyme substrate complex will be formed more easily due to the participation or the role of the activator or the metal ions. Next are the categories of enzyme which are based on these activators. And there are two categories of enzymes which are requiring metals for their activity. And they are distinguished as metal activated enzymes. And number second is the metalloenzymes. Number first is metal activated enzymes. It means that the metal is not tightly held or bound by the enzyme, but it can be exchanged easily with the other ion if it's available in the metabolic system, like ADPase. ADPase enzyme, it can utilize magnesium and calcium, and enolase use the magnesium ion. But these ions or the metallic ions, they don't form the tight bonding with the enzyme. It means that yes, these cations can be removed depending on the situation. Therefore, these enzymes are called metal activated enzymes. And number second are the metalloenzymes. And these enzymes hold the metals rather more tightly, and which are not readily exchanged. And like the alcohol dehydrogenase, carbonic anhydrase, alkaline phosphatase, phenol oxidase, which requires copper, pyruvate oxidase, which requires manganese, xanthine oxidase, which requires molybdenum, and cytochrome oxidase, which requires iron and copper, and they bind tightly with the enzyme to form the metalloenzyme category of the enzymes. And next is the active site. And no doubt the size of enzyme is very big as compared to the size of substrate. Like here is the big size of the enzyme, active site is smaller one, and also the substrate is so smaller one, and therefore a small portion of this huge enzyme like active site, which is directly involved with for the binding of the substrate to the active site of enzyme, or overall to the enzyme for the catalysis, and therefore the active site, or which is also known as active center, it represents a small region of the enzyme at which the substrate binds, and therefore it participates in the catalysis, and this catalysis is responsible for the enzymatic site, or enzyme is responsible for catalyzing the conversion of substrate into product. Next is the salient features of the active site. Number first is the existence of active site is due to the tertiary structure of the protein, and which is resulting in the three-dimensional native conformation of enzyme. It means that enzyme, or overall the protein, will formed, or you can say the form the conformation while foldings, which is going to be takes place in the structure of the protein to form its the three-dimensional structure, or the tertiary structure, and therefore the active site is made up of amino acids, and these are also called as catalytic residues, and which are far from each other in the linear sequence of amino acid. It means that like if we talk about the primary structure of the protein, they may be present away from each other. It means that many other amino acids may be present in between them, and they may not be take part in the catalytic activity of enzyme. For example, one example is quoted over here, like enzyme lysozyme. It has 129 amino acids, and the active site is formed by contribution of amino acid which are numbered as 35, 52, 62, 3, and 101. It means that these five amino acid, which are 35, 52, 62, 63, and 101, these five are responsible for the catalytic activity of the enzyme from the overall 129 amino acids sequences, or 129 amino acids counts which are present in the enzyme. It means that only a few amino acids take their part in the catalytic activity of the enzyme. And active sites are recorded as the cleft, or the crevices, or the pockets which are occupying a small region in a big enzyme molecule. It means that they form some room, or some point, or some place which are responsible for the binding of the substrate to the enzyme. And these clefts, or the crevices, they are the smaller region in a very big structure of the enzyme. And active site is not rigid in structure and shape. It means that yes, it's the flexible one, and for promoting the interaction or the binding between the substrate and enzyme, the active site uh, conformation can be little bit change in its background while sensing the environment. The active site, or the you can say the conformation of overall the enzyme at the active site, it can be little bit change with the passage of time due to the surrounding environment, and therefore it's not the rigid one. And generally the active site possesses a substrate binding site and a catalytic site. And the later is for the catalysis of specific reaction. And coenzyme or the cofactors on which some enzyme depend. Without the coenzyme or the cofactor, enzyme will not show their catalytic activity. They are also present as the part of catalytic site. And the substrate binds at the active site by the very weak non-covalent bonds. These are the secondary type of forces, and if these forces are stronger, like in a sense the covalent bond, then there will be, as the covalent bond is very tight or very strong, and when the substrate wants to be changed into product, and this situation will not be monitored, and this monitoring will not be going on because there was covalent bond between the enzyme and the substrate, and therefore substrate may not be converted into product. Therefore there must be weak non-covalent bonding or interactions between the substrate and the enzyme. And enzymes are specific in their functions due to the existence of active site. It means that only a very specific enzyme will act on a specific substrate. And the commonly found amino acids at the active site, and the commonly found amino acids at the active site are the serine, aspartate, histidine, cytosine, lysine, arginine, glutamate, and tyrosine. It means that out of 20 amino acids, only a few amino acids are present on the active site and which are responsible for the catalytic activity. And among these amino acids, serine is the amino acid which is most frequently found on the active site. And the substrate binds with the enzyme at the active site to form the enzyme substrate ES complex, and then the product is released after the catalysis, and again enzyme is available for the reuse. Like reuse mean enzyme molecules are again available to accommodate at their active site. uh, they will accommodate the substrate molecules. Next is the enzyme specificity. Enzymes are highly specific in their action, like lock and key model, just like that of catalyst. Enzymes are highly specific, and one enzyme is not responsible for catalyzing all type of reaction, and one enzyme is not responsible for accommodating the all type of substrate on their active side and convert them to the product. And therefore from this there is origination of specificity of enzyme. And when compared with the chemical catalyst, they are found more specific, and the occurrence of thousands of enzymes in biological system might be due to the specific nature of enzyme. And if few of the enzyme were able to catalyze multiple or the 100 type of the reaction, then the count of enzyme or the number of enzyme may be less. But here the number of enzyme is very large. It means that enzyme specificity is very high, and many enzymes are available in the metabolic system to cause the catalysis. And three types of enzyme specificity are well recognized, and these specificity are stereospecificity, reaction specificity, and substrate specificity. And specificity overall is the characteristic property of active site. It means that specificity of enzyme is due to the role of active site, and at the active site of a certain enzyme, the conformation, the sequence, or the presence of amino acids are different, and therefore three type of enzyme specificity are well recognized, and we will discuss here. Number first is stereospecificity or the optical specificity. And stereoisomers are the compounds which have the same molecular formula, but they differ in their structure configuration, and the enzyme act only on one isomer and therefore exhibit the stereospecificity, and second isomer will be left as such. It means that enzyme will sense the only one isomer because they are depending on the structural conformation and therefore exhibit the stereospecificity. For example, L amino acid oxidase and D amino acid oxidase, they will act on L and D amino acids respectively, and hexokinase enzyme acts on dehexoses, carbohydrates, monosaccharides, and glucokinase enzyme will act on D-glucose. Amylase acts on alpha glycosidic linkage. It means that they will act on the bond glycosidic. Cellulase cleaves the beta glycosidic bonds. It means that here the enzyme specificity is discussing as the stereo specificity, depending on the how the enzyme will choose D or L form, and how the enzyme will you can say sense the alpha or the beta orientation of the you can say the bonds like glycosidic alpha or glycosidic beta bonds. And stereospecificity is explained by considering three distinct regions of substrate molecules, specifically binding with the three complementary regions on the surface of enzyme. Like in the diagram, the stereospecificity is represented as like A dash, B dash, C dash. These are the 3 points of attachment of the substrate to the enzyme, and enzyme points are A, B, and C. It means that the shape and the it means that shape should be complementary, conformation should be complementary, or overall stereospecificity is there. And the class of enzyme belonging to the isomerases don't exhibit the stereospecificity since they are specialized in the interconversion of isomers. Next is the reaction specificity. On a certain reaction or for the certain reaction, the enzyme are responsible for the catalyzing it. Like the same substrate can undergo the different type of the reaction, and each type of reaction is catalyzed by the separate set of the enzyme, and therefore it's referred to as the reaction specificity. It means this specific type of reaction is catalyzed by the enzyme, like oxidation, like isomerization, like hydrolysis, and so on. An amino acid can undergo, like amino acid is the one substrate, and this substrate can undergo multiple reactions like transamination, oxidative deamination, decarboxylation, and racemization. And enzyme, however, are different for each of these type of reactions, and therefore enzyme are very specific in catalyzing a certain type of reaction. And substrate specificity, yes, substrate specificity varies from enzyme to enzyme. It may be either absolute or relative or the broad. It means that how the enzyme will pick up the substrate or choose the substrate. Absolute substrate specificity, it means that certain enzyme act only on one substrate like glucokinase. It act on glucose to give glucose 6-phosphate, and urease cleaves urea to ammonia and carbon dioxide. It means that it's the absolute substrate specificity. Only these enzyme will act on the specific or the absolute substrate. Next is the relative substrate specificity. Some enzymes act on the structurally related substances. This in turn may be dependent on the specific group or the bond present. For example, the action of trypsin is a good example for the group specificity. Trypsin hydrolyzes peptide linkages involving arginine or the lysine, and chymotrypsin cleaves peptide bond attached to the aromatic amino acids like phenylalanine, tyrosine, and tryptophan. It means that the enzyme act on the structurally related compounds, but it depends on the specific group like the aromatic group or the specific bond present over there. And the example of the bond specificity, glycosylation enzymes acting on the glycosidic bond of the carbohydrate, lipases cleaving steric bond of the lipids. It means that it's the relative substrate specificity when structurally related compound or the substance are present there and enzyme are acting on them. For assignment, discuss the question which enzymes are responsible for cleavage of carbon sulfur bond and carbon carbon bond, and also trace enzyme which are responsible formation of these two bonds like carbon sulfur bond and carbon carbon bonds. It's for today's lecture. Best wishes and Allah Hafiz.